Welcome back to the post-match show. France have beaten Paraguay 1-0 in Philadelphia on the 4th of July of all days. Kylian Mbappe with the only goal from the penalty spot. But honestly, this game was about so much more than the scoreline. Thierry, what did you make of that?
Look, it wasn't pretty. But sometimes you have to get your hands dirty, and France showed today they can play dirty football when they need to. Paraguay came in with a plan. They wanted to provoke, they wanted to frustrate, and for large parts of the game, it worked. But France dealt with it. Mbappe dealt with it. And in the end, one moment of quality was enough.
I agree with Thierry, but I want to add something. Paraguay went too far tonight. There's a line between being physical and being dirty, and they crossed it multiple times. The shirt pulling at the penalty spot, the provocations, the elbows. I've been in these situations as a player and I understand the frustration. But what Paraguay did was not football. That was something else entirely.
Let's talk about the goal itself. Mbappe from the penalty spot in the second half. But before that, there was a question about whether the referee even gave it initially.
That's the thing that frustrates me. The referee was staring straight at it. It was a clear foul, the clip on Mbappe's ankle, and he didn't give it. They had to go to VAR. And even then, you could see the Paraguay players surrounding the referee, trying to influence the decision. It's unacceptable.
And then after all that, after all the drama, Mbappe just slots it. Cool as you like. Looked at the goalkeeper, basically said, "Where are you going?" That's confidence. Not arrogance, confidence. When you have 7 goals in a World Cup, you've earned the right to celebrate like that.
7 goals and 2 assists now for Mbappe. He's leading the Golden Boot race ahead of Messi, who also has 7 goals but no assists. Is this another Mbappe World Cup?
It feels like it. Every time Messi scores, Mbappe responds. Every time someone questions him, he answers on the pitch. 19 goals in 19 World Cup games. That is extraordinary. When I look at those numbers, I see a player who is built for the biggest moments.
Paraguay's approach tonight was controversial. They were extremely physical, some would say dirty. Thierry, as a former player, how do you handle that kind of provocation?
You have to stay composed. That's the hardest thing in football. When someone is kicking you, pulling your shirt, trying to get a reaction, your instinct is to push back. But France showed real maturity tonight. They didn't lose a player. They didn't get drawn into the mud. And that's credit to Didier Deschamps and the mentality of this squad.
I was worried at one point though. There was a moment in the second half where Mbappe got kicked on the shin and I thought, here we go. If he reacts, if he pushes someone, he's off. And then France are down to 10 men with 20 minutes to go. But he smiled. He just smiled and walked away. That's the mark of a world-class player.
7 yellow cards across the tournament for France, but 0 for Paraguay tonight. That tells you a story, doesn't it?
It tells you everything about how the game was refereed. France got booked for reactions, for responses to provocation. But the initial fouls, the shirt pulling, the elbows, nothing. The referee should have put a lid on it much earlier. A couple of early yellow cards and Paraguay would have calmed down.
One player who deserves huge credit tonight is the Paraguay goalkeeper, Orlando Gil. For saves, named player of the match despite being on the losing side.
He was incredible. That double save in extra time, getting down to his right, then getting back up to make the second save. That's what you want from a goalkeeper. Keep your team in the game. He was the only reason the score stayed at 1-0.
And that long pass from Maignan to Mbappe, the quarterback ball, that was absolutely frightening. The way he plucks it out of the air and zings it into Mbappe's path. If that goes in, it's the goal of the tournament. But Gil's saves towards the end were world-class.
Tactically, what did you see from France tonight?
They showed they can win in different ways. We know France can play beautiful football, possession-based, creative. But tonight they had to grind. They had to be physical. They had to win second balls. Manacone in midfield was important for that, stopping the counters, winning the battles. That's what you need in a World Cup knockout game.
I also think the water breaks helped France. 22.5 minutes, get a rest, regroup, go again. For a team that was being provoked and frustrated, those breaks were crucial. They could reset, listen to the manager, and come out with a different energy.
France now face Morocco in the quarterfinals in Boston. These two met in the semi-finals of the last World Cup. What do you expect?
A completely different game. Morocco are organized, they defend as a unit. But France have the quality to break them down. I think France will be too strong, but Morocco will make them work for it. It won't be easy.
I think France win this comfortably. Mbappe is in the form of his life. If you're Brazil, if you're Argentina, you should be worried about France. This team can play pretty football, but they can also fight. That makes them dangerous.
There you have it. France won, Paraguay nil. Mbappe the difference. France through to the quarterfinals to face Morocco. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next one.